Hello everyone, my name is Akanksha Bedi. This is my individual presentation on the sprint which me and my team together had a project on Amazing Solar Solutions Private Limited. So this is my individual sprint presentation from the overall work which we've done in the roadmap and other things. So coming on to Solar Solutions Private Limited. I, with my team members, Kajal, Grace, and Shavanpreet, we all four of us has done the entire roadmap. Our project name is Enterprise Systems Project. Our client organization is Amazing Solar Solutions Private Limited. Our client is Tina Arora. We've mentioned her address and website and contact details. We are doing a CRM project on her company. Technically, me with my teammates have performed a lot of different work in the sprint. So firstly, coming on the project background, the quality of leads generated at Amazing Solar has been substandard. The company is in an urgent need of a system to generate quality leads for its sales team and ultimately enhance the conversion rate to improve sales and its revenue. The client needs to implement a new system which will facilitate in tracking lead generators and provide the sales team with maximum quality leads, which is the main issue as they are facing low quality of lead generation at Amazing Solar Solutions. Then the systems which we are creating for them through CRM should help them overcome all the problems they are facing. Coming to the product details, so a customer CRM is basically a customer relationship management. It is a system that is more suitable solution to meet the client's need with regards to quality lead generations. A CRM system will definitely help them streamline and automate the company's marketing throughout integration with other softwares to collect campaign data, automated collection of lead demographic data, as well as market funnel positions through CRM, which facilitate the qualifications of Amazing Solar leads and assist them to attract potential clients. So CRM, because the CRM currently is not having the most suitable system to meet the clients, it will also be helping to create the leads which will fetch them more money and more future oriented goals. It's not that they'll be just hanging in between and not achieving their goals currently. Then coming on to sprint one. So this is our sprint one from the entire project. We'll be coming up with two more sprints after this. So in sprint one, we started it on 19th of July and we ended it on 20th of August. Definitely it took us almost more than a month to finish it, but we did a lot of hard work. We started with literature review. A proposal was given to us from which we made user stories according to different point of views from different users, different actors. And then we attached literature review with our user stories to come up with current as-is model. Then we came up with business process re-engineering model, which is BRP system. Then we also did 2B model. We also started generated a questionnaire. Qualitative analysis was done. Quantitative flow was measured. We used case diagrams like UML and ERD diagram. We also had a lot of input from our client. We also were supervised a lot by our supervisor, Hari sir, and also a major input was given to us by Bilal sir overall. And with a lot of revisions, we've reached to a sprint one today. It was not definitely a one-day job. It was over weeks that we achieved what I'll be showing you today. So coming on to user stories. So basically, user stories are the aspects which we picked in us for our CRM model, and we've also shown the timelines which we took in accomplishing it. For example, in if like the client if the client recommendation came, so as a stakeholder, I would like to have a written recommendation to the client related to the aims of project and how the aim will be achieved, and a summary of key findings and intended outcome of the proposed CRM system will be done. And to provide a written recommendation to client based on the analysis, this all overall took me individually 3 hours. Like this, I also performed this user story, which says use case diagram, UML, and ERD diagram. So in which I used to, as a stakeholder, I would like to have a use case diagrams to summarize the detail of the system's user and database. On that, we developed system design through UML and ERD diagrams, and me along with Shavan, we both took individually 2 hours minimum to finish this up. Definitely this time frame is way less than what we actually did, but because we couldn't just calculate the exact time and frame it the exact time which we took for the overall thing, but definitely it took us a lot of effort and a lot more time to put all this together. Then coming on to my individual component in the sprint. So basically I accomplished a lot in the sprint. I was involved in the design of the product roadmap. We all had segregated our parts in the roadmap. So our literature reviews was divided according to the user stories segregations part. So somebody was like, I was doing CRM adoption in an organization, somebody else was doing some other part of the CRM. So like this, we all had input of literature review and our stories was made. Like that, I did the overall product roadmap. So basically my role was to put together the entire roadmap because I'm the group leader. And then I also created the sprint and the product backlog. I drafted recommendations to the client based on the quantitative and qualitative research finding, which I'll show you. I was also involved in the product's quantitative research and mapped the entire out the entity relationship diagram, ERD diagram. This was not done in one day. Definitely what we presented first was not so much approved by our professors and our client. And then we did revise it overall to reach this stage. So this was the, for example, we did a fishbone diagram. So this is the diagram which we basically did. In a fishbone diagram, basically it is a graphical representation of the potential causes of the problem. The layout indicates that the cause and effect between potential causes of the problem and facilitates with the analysis of the current lead generation process at this company, Amazing Solars. 5 general major categories for the cause which we found out for the ineffective lead generation were website, marketing, strategy, technology, and process, which can be seen in the diagram. And according to this, then we related all the works which we wanted to for the output of effective lead generation. Then coming on to evidence of work done, we also did ERD diagram. So in here, we did a lot of user stories from different point of view using like literature review. We did current as in model, and then we did to be model, questionnaire. So some things which like current as in model, from there the user story was as a stakeholder, I would like to have a as in model to be able to understand the current process and operations of the Amazing Solars, which we had to keep in higher priority. So there were things also which we had to, which were not that prior, so we kept them at a lower priority, like a questionnaire. Because as a stakeholder, the user story was, I would like to have a questionnaire which will facilitate with the subsequent quantitative analysis and qualitative analysis of the current organization's process and processed system. So now when we compare it as to as in model, current as in model, so the questionnaire is little less important. So the priority for questionnaire was kept lower. Similarly, there were other issues like use case diagram that was kept at higher priority. Some things were medium priority, quantitative flow analysis and qualitative flow analysis, as it was related to questionnaire and other aspects. So we definitely kept them as a lower priority. Coming on to ERD diagram now. So for ERD diagram, I also designed the entity relationship diagram, which is the ERD diagram, as it is an essential model for modeling the data stored in the proposed CRM database. It is the basic design upon which the database will be built. So all this here, you can see it's the basic model. Basically, ER diagram specifies what data will be stored and the entities and their attributes. It shows, as you can see in the table here. And then they also show how each entity is related to their other entities. Basically, this is what I discovered during the entire roadmap. Then coming on to how I applied stream specific knowledge to my project. basically first knowledge on my how to develop a roadmap in order to visualize the product strategic development. There was a lot of confusion earlier, like what is a roadmap and how does it work. So we never knew what actually a roadmap is. Then coming on to this, we understood that we have to have some route or some way to perform whatever has to be accomplished in this company. So definitely a roadmap was first planned out, product roadmap was planned out, then sufficient fundamental on how to develop user stories and product backlogs, because uh, this is the first time we've done user stories and we never knew how to develop a user story. And definitely from the input given by Dr. Bilal, we had a lot of clarity on how do we develop a user story, and then we had to use different actors and how we had to have a acceptance criteria for all of them fundamentally. And this is how we did our user stories, and then we reached to a product backlog. After this, agile methodology was to facilitate the product roadmap development. We definitely had to have this agile methodology to facilitate, because it is one of the very, very essential part for the product roadmap. Then coming on after that, definitely expert in software design to develop entity relationship diagram, which is a very clear digital visualization of how things will be performed and how we can actually go from step A to step B to step C till the end of our goal is achieved in the sprint. Then what I actually learned from the sprint, it's definitely what I've we have just 4 points here, but definitely I learned a lot from the sprint. Firstly, a strong roadmap supports the project objectives and product strategy. A product roadmap also facilitates in decision making and answering critical questions. Definitely. Otherwise, we would have been, everything would have been in our minds, but nothing would have been coming out on paper, and nothing, no output would be actually coming out. Actual beneficial output would not be having coming out. It would just have been talks or just mental ideas that would have been coming. Then a product roadmap facilitates discussion of options and scenario planning, which we have seen in the above slides, how scenario planning and options came out through different aspects. Then articulation of product vision and strategy ensures all stakeholders work towards a common goal. Basically, the common goal is to make the company flourish, to have clients which are happy, and to achieve profit. So now we have a very clear vision from all this, like what we'll be doing, what aspects we are looking at, what are the different sides of user stories from the point of user stories that we have to look at, and how we are going to achieve those goals in the given time frame. Then what I could have done better in sprint is for sure a lot of things. First of all, aligning the product roadmap with project's goal. Some of the user stories in the product roadmap did not align in the starting initially, then which increased complexity, due to which the complexity really became difficult, and the execution of some tasks and realization of the set goals. So all this was for the part one. And then secondly, setting a realistic expectation in the roadmap. There were incidences where elongated timelines were there, and then widened scopes, which somewhat jeopardized the upcoming preparedness of or pre-planned process of us, which with initiatives and sprint. So all these things which I will keep in mind for my next sprint that will be coming up. We'll have definitely we'll keep a big mindset of the timelines and aligning the product roadmap, and trying to rectify the mistakes which we did initially. Then also apart from this, I learned how to work in a team. Being the team leader, I also learned how to not take everything on yourself. You have to designate things to others, and you have to still be able to work on the overall aspect and come up with your individual self as well. It's not that you're just going to be in a team, and you still need to have your own self in the project, not just be in the shadow of others. So this is something very important I learned. Then definitely from our professors, especially from Dr. Bilal, I learned that if I've done something wrong in the sprint, it should be rectified immediately. Firstly, seek advice about what's gone wrong, and then accept that you've done something wrong. Don't just argue about it, and quickly change to the betterment of the project. So that is something also I learned in the sprint during the process. Basically, a sprint is some work you've done in certain time frame and you've submitted it for the review. So I hope we have a good review after the hard work we've put. I've definitely put more details in the Word file for more clarity, but I hope you like my sprint presentation and hopefully I'll do well. Thank you.